Women read a lot of porn. I feel like we as a society are just ignoring the fact that when you walk into a Barnes and Noble, there's just porn everywhere. I'm sorry, I had to. So, if you didn't know, this channel originally started off years ago as a sort of Chainsaw Man YouTube channel where I react. And Chainsaw Man is a Japanese comic book, if you didn't know. I would react to the chapters, I would react to the latest episodes, and do deep dives and all of that stuff. I kind of wiped those videos away when I started making a different type of video essay style thing here, but I kind of want to go back to showing you guys my media interests, my TV shows, movies, and all that sort. I haven't read or seen a single thing about this show other than the fact that it was made by the Breaking Bad creator and that it has something to do with this main character being the only person who is not perpetually happy. When I first heard about that concept for this show, I got reminded of a video game, a highly anticipated video game at the time when it was created, although I believe it fell short of people's expectations. But the game was called We Happy Few. And from what I can remember, if you have some time and you're interested in Pluribus and you're interested in how I talk about things, look up that video game, We Happy Few. I believe the premise was that every person in this area, in a certain area, was being given this medication on a periodic basis, and the medication would make them very happy. And not only would it make them very happy, it would make them hallucinate and see things a different way. So if you're a homeless person and you're sleeping beside a garbage bin, and you're sleeping inside of a cardboard box, you take the medication and you become happy. And when you open your eyes, instead of a garbage bin and a cardboard box, you see a refrigerator and a very plush, warm, and welcoming bed. And you see butterflies flying around the place and all of that stuff. So that game, I remember being super interested in that. When you play as the main character, as your pills sort of wear off, what you see as the player changes. And it was a very good, story about authoritarianism and, not improving the conditions of the people's lives in that area, but rather giving them some sort of a hallucinogen to make them believe that their lives were better. But because Apple TV has very quickly become my favorite distributor of new and original television shows right now, I decided not to read a single thing about the show and to know nothing about it going in. So I got about 5 minutes in before I said, hey, why don't I just turn on OBS and show you guys, my little commentary as I go through the episode. So it's not going to be a traditional reaction where you see the show playing along as I react. That wouldn't be very fun given that I am a PNG image right now. You can't see my facial expressions. So I'll be pausing, and when I pause, I will, cut in that part of the recording there so you guys can hear what I have to say. This is what a female porn addict looks like, by the way. I know A Court of Thorns and Roses, people are feeling called out right now. I know Colleen Hoover is geeked. Is this about me? No, not everything is about you, buddy. Get back to work. USMRIID, United States Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. No, don't take your outer glove off, dude. Can I just say, I love how much the camera stays still during this show. When I talked about Mr. Robot, I mentioned that. When I talked about Severance, I mentioned that. And here we see it again in Pluribus. I don't know what it is about just letting the camera be still. It just conveys a lot of confidence. It conveys a lot of sophistication, a lot of finesse, and a lot of care in how the shot looks. I hate it when the camera moves a lot. Good acting just makes me happy. Good acting just makes me happy. I don't know how else to convey that to you. When you're watching a show and you know everybody was on 100%, it just makes you happy. So, the main character's next book, or her serious book, is called Bitter Chrysalis. I didn't know what a chrysalis was. Well, I knew what it was, but I didn't know that that word was what that thing was. A chrysalis is that thing that caterpillars wrap themselves in while they are transforming into a butterfly. You can see them hanging off of certain plants. Some of them are camouflaged. So I'm reading this thing here from some science website. It says the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly takes place in the chrysalis or pupa. Butterflies go through a life cycle of 5 stages. I was trying to see if I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. Butterflies go through a life cycle of 5 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Inside of the chrysalis, several things are happening, and it's not a resting stage. The caterpillar's old body dies inside the chrysalis, and a new body with beautiful wings appears after a couple of weeks. So, just following along with what we've seen so far, this episode, the first episode of Pluribus, started with a couple of individuals getting some sort of signal from outer space. After some deliberation, one of them figured out that the signal that they were getting wasn't a coded message, but it might have been a sequence, like a DNA sequence or something of that sort. Some time passed. The medical community began to work on whatever they're working on. We don't know yet. Then the workers in this military medical facility were bitten by one of the experimental rats. They became very happy. Their saliva became infectious, and it is rapidly spreading. And we're back here with the main character and her wife, and we hear the mention of a chrysalis. The key thing to note here on this definition of a chrysalis is that it says several things are happening inside of it, and it is not a resting stage. So the clarification there already hints to the fact that when people look at a chrysalis, they think that the thing is just sleeping. The caterpillar's old body dies inside the chrysalis, and a new body with beautiful wings appears after a couple of weeks. Now, we don't know what this infectious disease is that has just begun to spread, but from the initial symptoms, they look happy. To an outsider, they could look as if they are in a rested, good mood, good state. But with this mention of chrysalis, we might want to keep that in mind, that there could be some sort of alien infectious disease or infectious creature that is inside of these people now and is using their body as a host until they metaphorically get the new body and generate beautiful wings and fly away. Uh-oh. Airbase on lockdown. Breaking news. Somebody call Lookner. I'm sorry, the acting is just so good. It feels all of the conversations so far, but especially between these two characters, the main character and her wife, it feels like such a normal conversation, kind of. You know they're acting, but it's kind of like it just feels like they're not. I haven't had that happen too often when I'm watching a TV show. Even when the acting is very, very good, you still know it's like acting. But with this, it feels so natural. I think I just realized why it feels that way. With this show, they are not afraid to not show you the characters' faces as they're speaking. Usually, when a character is speaking, the camera will be super close to their face, their hair swept out of the way. You can see their entire face, and it goes back and forth between the two people. But here, you're allowed to see even the lead actress from the side in her natural mannerisms. The camera is not, lowering itself down to look up at her face. We just kind of see things as they would naturally. This show is going to be good. You can feel it. It's going to be good, good. Nice camera work here. Wonderful camera work. Look at this. Wait. So how did they get infected already? Wasn't infected like, I don't know, the bartender or something? Oh my god. Chad, if this happened to me, I would think it was the rapture. I would think it was the rapture. I don't know. I would start crying. See what I mean? Things come into and out of the frame. The camera itself doesn't move. Nah. Hell no. I don't know what I would do in this situation. Oh my god. Dude, even the baby is tweaking. You can see the blanket moving. This episode is a masterpiece. This is a complete masterpiece, Vince. Hey, the guy at the beginning of the episode said, sending the message was a lot of work. It had to be more than just a hello, and it was more than just a hello. They just nuked you, bro. What an amazing sequence. This is unironically what AI sounds like to me. Oh no.
And to say it again,
the hive mind mechanics are so well done here. We've seen it 1,000 times, like a hive mind type of entity, but I don't know, just doing it with modern technology in this way, it feels so sci-fi, so new.
no danger.
Dude, the alien people entity has just completely taken over the Earth, and they're just communicating with the main character here. I'm interested to see what they want, what their goal is, what this virus is here to do. The alien virus said, "We are here for you," repeatedly. What, if anything, is there special about Carol that has made the alien fixated on her? Or is this just a fluke? Is she just immune because she's immune?
You are talking to me from my TV. And what the fuck is with everybody's shit like this and this?
Guys, this is acting. This is the thing called acting. You just I don't know. I just feel like I needed this show right now. I'm probably making no sense and sound super cringe, but this is acting, dude. So 11 other individuals, so 12 in total. 12. 12 is a popular and culturally significant number, biblical number here. So let's see if we can spot any other biblical little Easter eggs or things that can give us some insight into what the story of this is. That was one of the best pilots I've ever seen in my entire life. I kind of want to savor the second episode so I don't have to wait as long. until the future episodes arrive. But just, I don't know, I have to gather my thoughts. First off, it felt like an entire movie. The way that it was shot, the way that it was acted. It had all of the cinematic styles that I've grown to like, as I mentioned earlier in the video, that Mr. Robot or Severance style cinematography where the camera will stay still and people and objects will move into or out of the camera. I just think it makes everything look extremely well put together, I guess is how I would describe it. In terms of the plot, I am 100% hooked. I got, I was reminiscing while I was watching about The Last of Us, about that video game We Happy Few that I talked about earlier. I feel it kind of feels like both of those combined into one. The way that they did and portrayed this hive mind like virus was very fresh and refreshing. That is something we've seen time and time again in sci-fi. But the way that they did it here felt fresh and modern and new and rejuvenated. I felt constantly surprised with what I was seeing, even though what I was seeing was, logically fit into the world building that they're doing here. I wasn't able to predict it even though everything made perfect logical sense. I wasn't able to predict what was going to happen next. Very strong world building here, very consistent. I'm kind of holding my hand back here from clicking on the next episode already to just see what's going to happen next. But fantastic acting, fantastic. The show is fantastic technically from the first episode. Like I said, you can just tell that this is going to be one of those great, great shows. Television is so good right now, guys. There's so many good shows. I talked about Hacks recently. We've had Succession and Severance and Mr. Robot and all of these fantastic, amazing shows recently. So it's a very good time. Let me know what you guys think about this first episode of Pluribus.